One of the weirder sightings I had was during one of my UFO hunts earlier this year in August. I went out in August because my mother was away 3 days in New Hampshire. I decided to do a UFO hunt because she wouldn't be home. It's the only time I can get away with it when I do it from my front porch. And I saw a weird flickering light move across the sky, move back and forth, like this. So I'm thinking, at first, I didn't even notice its movement. I just was filming it. I'm like, that's kind of weird looking. Film it. Didn't think it was weird when I was filming it. I didn't really notice how weird it was until I really looked closely at the footage. I had to edge detect it in my video editing program to show up the edges and where all the shapes begin and end, to see that it was in fact moving back and forth, and its flickering rate kept changing, and it hovered at certain times and things like that. Which makes me think it's not a plane, because planes can't do U-turns, like all of a sudden turn around like that. It doesn't make sense for it to be able to do it. So, if planes can't do it, what about helicopters? I know a lot of the debunkers are going to say, oh, that was just nothing but a helicopter that was so far away you couldn't hear it. Not with my research, it isn't. And I'll go into it. Here is an image taken with Google Street View of my street. Not from my vantage point when I saw this, unfortunately. I have no control over that, but the middle of the street. We're going to zoom in a little bit to where I saw this thing. And before we go into it, I want to say that military and civilian helicopters are a lot different in many different ways. But one of the big differences is military helicopters are a lot quieter than civilian ones. You might think that's crazy because helicopters are very loud. But civilian helicopters are so loud they can be heard around 10 miles away or less. Any further away you won't hear it. Civilian helicopters, that's civilian helicopters. Military helicopters, however, are much quieter. You have to be within 2 to 3 miles of them to hear them. So, I'm thinking that light is going to be bigger. The flickering light I saw is going to be bigger. Assuming it's a helicopter for now. Let's just go with the helicopter theory. It's going to be bigger when you see it up close. So how big would it be? Would it be too big to be a helicopter? Is my big question. The answer is, well, I'm going to show you right here. From my vantage point, the light was about that big in the sky. Not particularly huge, big star size maybe. We're doing civilian helicopters now. That's more than 10 miles away. We'll say 11. So at 6 miles away, roughly half of 11, it would look like this. Now at 3 miles away, it will be that bright. Now at 1.5 miles away, it will be that bright. You see what I'm doing? I'm multiplying the brushes by 2 in size every step. Now, at 600 feet, which is not 600 feet, sorry, at 1,000 feet, alright, about 1,500 feet, it would be this bright. I know for a fact civilian helicopters, like police helicopters, don't use lights this bright. Okay? They don't. I've seen video of a spotlight of a helicopter really close, within 30 feet. When the spotlight was flaring, as it was pointed at you, the size of it was about this big, tops. No way in hell would they have a spotlight this bright that could be seen this far away. It doesn't make sense for them to do it. There's no way in hell this was a civilian helicopter. Now, what about military helicopters? They can be heard a lot less far away. We'll start again at the size I saw it at in the direction and assume it's 4 miles away. So far, it wouldn't be heard if it's a military helicopter. At 4 miles away, the distance it can't be heard at, it's about that big. At 2 miles away, its light would be about this big. At 1 mile away, its light would be about this big. At 1,000 feet away, its light would be about this big. And at 500 feet away, the length of the distance between my house and the end of our street, roughly both ways, the light would be about this big. Now, to make things much more clear that this can't be a military helicopter, at 50 feet away, the light on this helicopter would be so big, it brightens the whole area so much you can't see. The military wouldn't have a light on a helicopter that big or be that dangerous. That's crazy. I've never heard of such a thing. No way in hell is this a helicopter. No way. This is one of the weirdest UFOs I saw. For the debunkers to think this is just a helicopter, that's just not possible with what I saw. And it's not a plane. It couldn't move the way it did. So yeah, it's definitely a UFO. There's no question about it. And a weird one at that. Don't know what it was. I guess it could be a secret aircraft, but around here in the middle of nowhere, well, near a city, when I say middle of nowhere, I mean near a city where a lot of people, I don't think we would see a lot of secret aircrafts around here. They wouldn't risk having it seen around here. This is not a middle of a big desert. This is a big populated area. In Boston, I don't think this was anything but a UFO, honestly.